Okay,
recording.
we go. All right. So we were discussing, what we expect to find when we look at a student ministry that's not impacting the parents of that ministry. What do we expect to see in the teenagers? What do we expect to see by the time they graduate high school? And it seems pretty unanimous to us that if you're not going to reach your parents, if you're not going to have an impact there, then you're not going to have students that are going to be really dialed in and really focused. You're going to lose your students more and more as they go from middle school to high school. And by the time they graduate, if you're not having a real impact on the family outside of the church, then likely you're not even going to be seeing those kids by the time they're seniors in high school. And if they even make it to graduation in the church, they're idea that they'll continue to go to church into college is just it just isn't very likely if you're not going to reach the parents.
Yeah, and to build upon what Brandon was saying, like if you're not reaching those parents, there's probably very few parents that are actually walking their kids in their spiritual lives from birth all the way through high school and everything. And that's just being realistic. It's what we've seen in the books and the class lectures and just from personal experiences and stuff like that. And so we really need to partner with the parents, because if we're not partnering with them and showing them and leading them how to minister to their family, they're probably not doing that themselves. And so the kids, their eyes are open, they're watching everything their parents do. And if their parents aren't taking faith serious at home and building their kids' lives spiritually, then they're probably not going to grow up to go to church outside of once they're out of high school and everything. And so that's why we see such a big decline once they get to seniors and afterwards. And that's why there's so many young adults that are lost.
Well, you guys have said all that needs to be said about it, but I think the only thing I would add to that is in the old days, we used to call this idea of having an impact on somebody, we used to call it discipleship. And if we're not having an impact, if we're not making an impact on these adults, if the student ministry can't impact those adults, then like you both said, we're not going to impact the students. And then those students are going to grow up and they're not going to impact their students, their children. And that cycle gets perpetuated and it continues on. And so I think the only thing I would add to that is the further along we get in this process. So if we're the fourth generation from an undiscipled or an unreached, if you will, from a student ministry generation, that means we're further away from the Lord and from the church and from the truth than we were 4 generations before. And so that ripple effect that it has on generations and generation to generation is so key. We really need to spend that time. We need to figure out how it is that we can impact those adults and then their students. I mean, those students are going to walk away, like you both said. They're going to just walk away from the church. Just quit coming, quit talking about God. I've got a number of them in my own church that we've seen. They quit coming to church as soon as they graduate high school. It's like, I'm done with it. And so it's really sad. And so we've got to reach parents so that they can reach their kids